Hi, thanks so much for meeting me.
Thank you. Oh,
Basti looks lovely today.
I know, so nice.
Georgia, thank you so much for having us in Basti today.
Good to meet up with you guys and have a chat.
Definitely. And this is where you train locally, this is where you're based, where you live.
Yeah.
What is it like to sort of run around here and just have this space?
It is so nice. Battersea is a big running hub in London. I've done a lot of laps of this park. But yeah, I do a lot of training here on my own when I'm not on camps with my team because they're all Manchester based. So yeah, Battersea is pretty much my home go-to training session.
And you've had such an amazing year this year, like such a huge highlight. Just reflecting back on Paris, like how do you feel now kind of being in the autumn and having a bit more time to just get some training under your belt and just relax?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a harsh back to reality when I got back into training after the off season. But now I'm back into a little bit more fitness and we're going to start a new training block. So yeah, it's just another year. A lot has changed for me. I'm a full-time professional athlete now for the first time.
So exciting.
So yeah, I'm just adjusting to it, but really enjoying it so far.
And recently just got married as well.
Yes, yes, recently just got married, so had a busy summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So just going back to kind of where you began, obviously as a younger runner in the UK, you were really promising. And you got a scholarship to America, that's right?
Yes.
And yeah, so once you went over to America, came back, took that break,
Mm-hmm.
what was it about coming back to running, coming back to sport? Like, what was that journey like for you, kind of coming back?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I essentially kind of gave up on my dream after I left America when I graduated. I had so many injuries and I just never thought I was going to be good enough to be a professional or make it to the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Stopped running completely and stopped all exercise. And then just throughout COVID and lockdown, when there was nothing else to do, just got back into running again and found that the fitness came back really quickly, got in contact with my old coach again. And then after a few years of building up, adding in cycling, I just found that actually I was better than I used to be and decided it was time to get back into elite sport. And yeah, here we are.
I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to your story as well of like once we all went into lockdown, finding that sport because that was kind of all we could do at the time.
Yeah, literally, it was, you had an hour a day to exercise and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was just really looking forward to that hour every day. And just found myself just really thinking about pushing myself and kind of taking it from just an easy run to, okay, how fast can I go or how far can I cycle? And yeah, all those competitive juices came back flowing again.
I bet. And then yeah, like so parkrun, how did that come about? Because I feel like obviously you're 1500.
Yeah.
5K is quite a big leap. Was that kind of just to dip your toe in the water? It's a fun run, it's casual and quite relaxed.
Yeah, I think it's good to kind of challenge yourself against different things, and parkrun was something that was on your doorstep. You know, it's in so many parks across the UK every Saturday. And so I just decided to enter one with some friends and see how far I could push myself. It was just about the challenge and to see what could happen. And yeah, after I did a good 5K, I kind of realised maybe I am fit again, and that's what led me to get back in contact with my coach.
And then going from doing parkrun, doing some 5Ks, getting back into it training, how did duathlon come about? Did you think about triathlon initially, or were you like swimming is just a no for me?
Swimming is pretty much a no for me. I did do it when I was younger, but I'm going to be honest, I think it's so hard. I have a lot of respect for people who can do it, and it's just such a faff with the hair, honestly. Like, can't be dealing with that. So duathlon was something that I didn't really know was a sport. But I had got into cycling and obviously really enjoyed running, so I thought, oh, I can mix the two. Like, I actually think I'd be pretty decent at that. Found the first duathlon in Richmond Park, where I do a lot of cycling in London. Nice local one. And then after that, I found out on social media about the whole age group opportunity and how you could actually qualify and do gets a Team GB vest through the age group level.
Yeah.
And so that kind of became a goal because I wanted to mix these two kind of sports that previously I had never tried.
So was getting your age group tri-suit kind of the first GB piece of kit that you wore for a long time?
Yeah, well, I had actually never even represented Great Britain before, and so that was my first opportunity to represent Great Britain, so it was really exciting. And yeah, I loved getting my tri-suit through in the post with my name on it. And yeah, it was only this year that I actually got my first Team GB opportunity on the track.
Yeah.
So technically duathlon came first.
I love that. So just take me back to getting your first bike. So what was that experience like? Because I guess once you decided, you know, triathlon isn't for me, like I don't want to do the swimming part. Trying to get a bike is actually quite a difficult decision, trying to decide what's right. Have you had any bikes since, like new bikes since, or have you kind of just stuck with the same?
Yeah, I think most people that get into cycling, they'll all agree it's like a gateway problem. So I was lucky that I have my husband, who is a very good cyclist. He was kind of guiding me throughout the whole process. So my starter bike was a Giant, and he made me get cleats straight away, just threw me straight in. I fell quite a lot
right in
at the
deep end.
beginning, and then I moved up to a Specialized Roubaix, and that's what I actually did the duathlon in Ibiza on. And then now I have a Canyon Air Road, which I absolutely love.
Nice.
So I'm just going through all those different gateways of leveling up. But yeah, I can understand how once you get into it, it just keeps going.
Yeah. And when you did your first duathlon, did you wear a tri-suit? Like how prepared did you go into it?
I would say I was pretty good at the running and the cycling. The things that I weren't good at were the transitions, horrible transitions.
What we call the fourth discipline.
Yeah, the fourth discipline I'm just so bad at. And so that was definitely an issue. And I did wear a tri-suit, just an Asos one, and some Specialized shoes.
Okay, nice. So you went into it kind of with a bit of an idea of what to expect, but maybe just the kind of putting all the pieces together was
I think
the part that is most difficult.
Like the athletics performances I think were good. The overall delivery could have been a bit smoother with the transitions and stuff, but overall, I think it was a really good first try, and that's what made me think maybe want to see how I could do on a higher level.
So going through the qualification process for Ibiza, did you kind of go into it knowing what to expect, knowing what to do? Like how did kind of the British Triathlon membership and that qualification process kind of happen for you? Yeah,
so I found out about the whole opportunity to represent on the global stage with the age group, and then off the back of that I did my research to understand there's a qualifying event that was in Grafham. That was actually a pretty horrible event. I just remember I was so exhausted by the end of it. I nearly dropped out with like 200 meters to go. I could see the finish and I was like, this is so hard.
Everything out there.
Just put everything out there. And only just qualified actually. I think I got the last spot, so it wasn't a sure thing anyway. But after that, I had a lot of respect for the event. I went away and did a lot of work. I got some tri bars put onto the Specialized to make it a little bit easier. And it was just kind of a big goal for me. I was like, this is the event that I need to come top 4 in to be able to make it to World Duathlon Championships next year in Ibiza. It was just something that I was really, really trying to achieve. Yeah, and then when you go out to Ibiza, what was that experience like, getting to do, the Parade of Nations, walking with people holding the GB flag? Yeah. Like, it must have felt a bit like an out-of-body experience since you'd been away from sport for so long. Yeah, it definitely did. It made you feel very patriotic. It made me feel quite competitive, like I really wanted to do well, and I really felt like I had a good chance too. And I just loved the whole idea of mixing two sports, like taking something old that I was familiar with and taking something new that I was just starting to get to grips with, and like mixing it and just putting me out of my comfort zone. The race is about like 2 hours long, so it is a big endurance challenge, and that was good to just keep things fresh when it came to competition.
Definitely. And then post-race, you won that age group race.
Yeah.
So to stand then on the top podium, it must have felt pretty surreal.
Yeah, it felt really surreal and just really nice. Like, I just felt really happy. I felt like it was something that I felt good at, I was excited for, but more than anything, it just made me think I just love competing and I want to do more of this.
Definitely. And then coming home, talk me through kind of the process of going then from that duathlon race to getting back into running and trying to kind of pursue that dream, because it might look quite black and white to someone who's seeing it,
Yeah.
you know, online or just reading about it. But I guess for you, happening real time,
Yeah.
what was that progress or process like?
Yeah, so I knew that Paris was coming up the following year, and to be honest, if duathlon had been an event in Paris, I think I would be going for it and trying to stick to that category, but obviously it's not, it's triathlon. And I just had a conversation with my friends and family and just came to the conclusion that I was never going to be able to make up enough of a difference in swimming to be competitive to qualify in triathlon.
Yeah.
But all this time I was really improving in track running, and so actually it was like, maybe this is where we focus for the next year and just see where we can get to. So although cycling is still a huge part of my training, my focus kind of turned to competing in running.
Yeah. So you did potentially for a very short period consider going into triathlon?
Yeah,
instead?
I did do 2 triathlons and absolutely hated them both. I qualified for the age group triathlon events kind of this year for Malaga, but I didn't end up competing because I was just like, honestly, yeah, as I say, a lot of respect to swimmers. It's bloody hard work, and yeah, I not for me.
For you. No, not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
So then, off the back of Ibiza, going back into track running, at what point did you think this could become a reality? Like, Paris really is on the cards now?
Paris didn't become a reality until a couple of months beforehand, to be honest.
Yeah.
We had the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow in March, and for me that was kind of my Olympics. So November last year, so 2023, I was kind of thinking, wow, if I can get a few seconds off my time, then maybe I could make that event. I did go on to make that event and I came 4th at the world level.
Yeah.
And so that really made me think, if I quit my job, if I take things seriously, then I might be able to make it to Paris.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing pretty well while still juggling a full-time job. Like, what if I went all in?
Yeah.
So once I did go all in, I started to see my performances just increase quite dramatically. Now that I was suddenly able to recover and do physio and do all the other things.
Not having to go to work on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, probably like just a couple of months out from Paris, it was like, I could actually make it. And then only when I was in Paris was I like, I could probably actually do this and medal.
Yeah. So when you get to Paris then, at what point, because you know, I'd assume you were taking it very much day to day, each performance as they come.
Yeah.
That final, you must have thought, what on earth is going on?
Yeah,
like,
it was strange, like, because on the one hand, yeah, it's like, am I seriously here? Am I seriously going to do this? But actually, I truly believed that I was going to win a medal going into Paris.
Hard for it, yeah.
I just felt like, it had totally meant to be. Like, I was born in Paris in the past and I had taken this break and come back, and training was going so well. I was having crazy fitness and I was just so happy, and I had teammates that were out there winning gold medals, like Keely, who I train with.
Yeah.
And it just instilled such a sense of me, like, no, this is all meant to be. You've taken the scenic route to get here, but you're here now. And I just knew that morning that I was going to get a medal, and that was that.
Yeah. And I guess, what does the future look like now for you?
So the future now, I am a full-time professional athlete. So the sabbatical turned into me actually quitting the corporate day job and going full-time with running. So yeah, this will be my first year as a full-time athlete. There's 3 major competitions next year that I'll be aiming for: European Indoors, World Indoors and World Outdoors in Tokyo. And I'm just excited to see what I can actually achieve having a couple of years as a pro under my belt.
Definitely going for LA?
Yeah, LA is the goal. 4 years time, it will come around quickly. But we've got a lot of competitions ahead of then, and I just want to see how fast they can go.
So anyone who might be watching today, what would you say like to them about trying to get involved if they're kind of on the edge or they're not too sure about maybe trying triathlon or duathlon or any discipline for the first time?
I just think go for it. Like at a very minimum, it will increase your quality of life if you love exercising, you love competing, and you just want to challenge yourself. And at a maximum, you might be able to make it to the Olympics and get a medal, like who knows. But you have to put yourself in those situations. It's not just going to happen to you, you have to make it happen.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having us today.
Oh no, thank you. It's been a pleasure to chat.